Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Time for the daily video. We've got a couple of good setups here. You can see that today was just another down day for the markets. Dow about 60 points down, S&P down a couple of points as well. Oil pretty flat, and gold is pretty flat today. So been a little bit uneventful. We've got some big news coming up, and so that's going to get markets moving a bit. So speaking of that big news, coming tomorrow, you can see that we have um, the FOMC meeting minutes is definitely going to be a big one, so we're going to be watching for that. Of course, retail sales for the U.S. will be a big one. PPI moves things just a little bit as well. And then for the U.K., we have some claimant count, basically their unemployment numbers, as well as the Bank of England. Governor King will be speaking. So that's going to be a big mover. And then later this week, we've got some other pretty important announcements, but plenty of good stuff coming up. Let's look quickly at the euro dollar. This euro dollar is definitely got some great downtrend potential. You can see on this 4-hour chart, we're starting to get a little tiny bit of a sign of a short-term bottom. Nothing super long-term, but definitely some short-term bottoming right here. You can see that just around 12700, we're starting to struggle just a little bit, and that is, of course, due to some support and resistance kind of consolidation zones back there, and we're getting a little bit of a bounce off that. So I think we're going to continue to get a bit of a bounce on that one. And what I'm looking for on this euro dollar is, you can see we had a nice little breakout right here. Very nice tested trend line, and it broke out. As long as this can stay above, again, we have some short-term reversal patterns. We can trade against these lows. The two options are this. Option number one is take an entry immediately with a 40 pip stop and trade against that low. But again, that's a 40 pip stop, and I don't 100% love that, but that's definitely an option, trading just against this low at current market price. Option B would be the daily pivot from the previous day here has kind of struggled. The market struggled to get above that, and so we're looking still for that kind of that kind of a setup and situation. We're only about 15 pips below that. I want to see a 1-hour candle open above 127.15. So above, not right on 127.15, but let's get a 127.16, 17, that kind of an area. But let's open above the highs of these bodies, not the wicks. I'm not too concerned about that, but the highs of these bodies gets me interested in in trading this pair up towards the 200-day moving average. So I think we've got a good 30 to 45 pip run in there if we get an open above 127.15, above 127.15. So that's what I'm looking for the moment. Pound dollar's looking a little messy. There's nothing I love too terribly much about this one. So I'm kind of going to stay out of it for the moment. Things are looking a little bit, we're bouncing on the 200-day moving average and all of that, but it's just a little bit messy. It's a little bit messy looking. So we'll just keep watch of it, but there's nothing too much that I'm, really excited about getting into. Okay, so Euro Yen has got this interesting little area right here. On the Euro Yen, you can see that we've got the daily pivot, which is going to be crucial, and we've got this kind of topping out area that we've been struggling with. So I'm going to be watching the Euro Yen up here. I'm going to be watching it against these highs of 101.30. If we break above this, we could see a bit of a run into some of these, like this missed pivot, for example, which is 102.40. That's still a potential target, although it's not the most likely one, but it's a possibility if we make a break above 101.30. But I'm not super counting on that. The trade I'd be looking for right now is an open below this daily pivot, which is around 100.80. 100.80. We get an open below that. I'm looking to test these lows, which are an entire 50 pips away, about 100.30. But I'm looking for an open below the daily pivot at 100.80. To short the pair. And then again, above 101.30, I think we've got some possibilities to make some decently higher runs here. But there's a lot of resistance, Let me just repeat that, that we have a weekly pivot, we have daily pivots, we have 200-day moving average. There's just a ton of resistance right here that's going to be tricky to get past. So just keep that in mind. Aussie dollar, this Aussie dollar is really struggling. It's bouncing around. It's definitely a little bit on the bullish side right now, but so far it's still staying below our daily pin bar right here. Nice reversal candle, so we're staying below that. But we're also staying above the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour chart and the weekly pivot. All this stuff. So basically, you can see that we're sitting about 104.35. give or take. An open below, if we can make a clean, clear break and just open below 100 point, or excuse me, 10400, this is going to put me very, very bearish on the Aussie dollar, very bearish below 10400. But while it's above, I don't really love any, I'm not loving any buy opportunities at this point. I'm really looking more to short it below 10400. As far as anything the buy side goes, I'm probably going to hold off on that just for a little bit longer and wait and see how things kind of materialize there. Gold still bouncing around. Of course, we're watching this weekly pivot on gold, which is around 1718, and we tested that with this little spike down. We tested that, and here we're kind of looking to head for it again. That was a 200-day moving average as well. We start to make some breaks below this area, and we've got a lot of open territory all the way down to about 1680. And that's where I think we'll have a nice move on, to the downside on like the euro dollar, for example, and euro yen, and so on. So let's keep our eyes peeled there. And then last but not least, I'm kind of looking, we have a few scenarios here. We have this guy, which is a nice little ascending trend line that we'll keep an eye on, and getting back below our moving average and the daily pivot around 82.75 makes me very excited about being bearish on the pair. And we're currently in a trade, and it's just sitting next to our entry price there. But again, above 8,300, if we get a nice break above 8,300, then I'm looking for the euro or the Aussie yen to make it up to about 83.50. So these are going to be a couple of scenarios that we'll be watching as the day kind of progresses on. So we'll be watching for that. But we've got some very nice setups, some great little entries, some great details. We're going to keep an eye on all of this, and I'll have more details coming out on Twitter. So make sure to follow me at twitter.com/daytradersfx. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the chat.